I really believe that bootstrapping is a process where every founder or every founder-to-be must go through.
Well, Tony Fernandez at my age, at 40 years old, he already start asking money for hundreds of millions, and I'm just asking for a few millions. It's still not a big deal for me.
I seriously love failure, and you cannot imagine how much I love failure. I look at failure as such a big blessing to me, you know. I am so thankful that when I fail, because it just means that I'm going to be so much better the next time.
If you have all the money in the world, if you have all the time in the world, what will you spend your time and your money to do?
Welcome to Linkedpreneur Stories. Welcome back again to Linkedpreneur Stories. Welcome to Linkedpreneur Stories. Welcome back to Linkedpreneur Stories. We are live. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all of you, whichever part of the world you're tuning in. Tell us how your day was. Here I am yet again, another episode with another fabulous guest today who have made it to the top, shared their expertise, their strength to just uplift everyone across the world. Today's episode is indeed a very, very, very special episode. Are you ready for it? We have our first guest, the first amazing lady who is the co-founder of Droppy, a woman with proactive attitude. That is what is needed to be an entrepreneur. She has it. Someone studied music at an international college in KL with a view to transfer in Berkeley College of Music. When she caught up the startup bug, yes guys, she founded Droppy in 2017 and today is among the Forbes 30 under 30 a Y Combinator company itself, and indeed has been driving growth for homegrown Malaysians ever since. I'm super excited to welcome on the show Lennise right here, co-founder and CEO of Droppy. Hey Lennise, welcome to the show.
Hi Krish, thanks for having me.
It's actually wonderful to have you, Lennise, and you have such a beautiful story of how you got started. But I know it, you know it. It's always good for our audience to also find it out, Lennise. So how did this startup bug even hit you? Do we get a little bit of background? Like, how did even Droppy get started?
Yeah, so Droppy got started mainly because I came from a family business that has been operating in the supply chain and does wholesaling for 3 generations now. And across the span of 3 generations, there's little to zero innovation happening in this space, at least across Southeast Asia. So what happened was, you know, I used to work for a lot of large tech companies. I used to work for Yelp in Australia, in the US. I used to work for a VC in Australia as well. So from those kind of experiences, I've decided that why not I create something or a platform just to innovate or disrupt this space. And 4.5 years later, here we are today.
That's wonderful. I mean, so that means it was a business which was inspired by your experience with your family members, right?
That's right.
But at the end of the day, to have that entrepreneurial kick or being a founder, you know, we have to take so many hard decisions, right? I want to reflect a little bit. Did you know that you had it in you, or you had a little bit of self-doubt, which usually many people go through? It's not easy to be actually end up at Y Combinator and getting mentored, coached there, and today taking the organization to the absolute next level.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's if you were to ask me 4.5 years ago, well, do I imagine this sort of journey? The answer is no. And I think it's the same answer, you know, 4.5 years later, where do I see myself? Then it's unpredictable. I live on a day-to-day basis, of course, with proper strategic planning, right? But at the end of the day, you make the most out of it. you hope for the best. What I always say to my team is that just keep your head low, focus on doing great impact through your work. Action speaks louder than words, and you'll be fine.
So you are a doer. That makes complete sense. I mean, it's all about let's get it done, man. And I love that, Lennise. I'm sure in all those things which you wanted to get it done, not everything went like super awesome. Though we know Droppy has seen amazing growth in the past 4-5 years, I would also love to hear from you. Has there been a time where it wasn't that easy? It just didn't feel right, or it didn't feel easy. It just didn't feel in the right space. How was it for you? And if you would be okay to share that story with us.
Yeah, for sure. I think every startup entrepreneur would face this at some point of their journey. Especially when you're trying to kickstart off your company, you don't really have much branding in the scene. There's not much trust. You're a first-time entrepreneur. So how do you hire the top talents? How do you hire the A team, the A-star team, and start building a kick-ass company with limited fundings? So Droppy first started through bootstrapping. Myself and my co-founder, we invested close to $100,000 US dollars ourselves. And we had to go through a period of, high and low search of top talents, and we get constant rejections, right? Like talents were rejecting us. So it definitely gets demotivating at times, especially when people don't really understood why we do what we do. They couldn't see, or at least back then, B2B isn't sexy enough. You flash back 5 years ago, B2C was the hottest thing in the market, right? Fintech, health tech, B2C space was something that's very sexy. B2B, you talk about supply chain, you talk about innovation in traditional businesses. What is that, right? Yeah. So a lot of times, so I think what really helped me move forward was having a very solid base and foundation of family and friends. They really supported me, and through those tough times made me reflect on what I can deliver. And at the end of the day, when time gets tough, just keep going. It's easier said than done, but it'll get better.
I think, Lennise, as you're saying this, I can reflect on so many things. But before that, as there are so many of them who's watching us right now, hey guys, welcome to Linkedpreneur Stories. If you just started watching, this is the first very episode of season 2, and I have amazing 2 women founders with us and 1 special guest, which you will only find out a little later. So indeed, Lennise is sharing her story with us. And with this, if you want her story to be taken to more part of the world, do share the video, click on the share button, guys, because you can't be selfish. Let's take it to the more people right here. And as well, very important thing to just mention to you, we are going to bring one audience question to Lennise in this segment, because this is less is more. 20 minutes of time, less time, more value. We're going to ask a lot more questions with Lennise. So if you want to bring your question, use this time. Well, guys, comment in your question. One question will surely promise us to answer in this segment. So Lennise, as you said, talent, one very important thing, and I can correlate with that. We have been growing, and there has been a lot of discussions about investor rejection. And that's one thing, but what happens, it's a whole different emotional level when your talent is kind of rejecting it, because there is still a mental resilience to get investor rejections. But when talent does that, it is even more difficult. I'm glad you mentioned about going forward and connecting with people who are a believer in you. I remember Azran on Linkedpreneur, and he talked about his close group of people that he go for when he has some feedbacks and such heart-to-heart conversation. And exactly, I see the same thing with you. And indeed is something even I'm practicing. So guys, this one's for you. No easy times for everyone, but have people who make it easy for you so that your ride gets better and smoother. Lennise, with this, of course, you're a founder, like a co-founder, right? And every time there is a thing, you have Droppy as a brand. And we believe every brand should have their recognition. But I want to ask you the big question. Is it also important in this digital era for founders like yourself to come forward and give a face to the name, to actually have a brand for oneself, and indeed do a humanized bond with their community, network, people, audience, or what we want to call it here? Okay, guys, I see that Lennise is a little... Okay, Lennise, are you back? Oh,
I'm back. I'm
You're
back here. Yeah, apologies for that. I got your question. I think I could easily answer that. I think in regards to putting yourself as an individual, the founders, to be the face of the company, there's no right or wrong. I've met entrepreneurs who have branded a company as a standalone entity, right? And I've met founders and really successful companies as well, like where you have the founders be the face of the company. So again, there's no right or wrong. It's pretty much up to you as a founder to see what sort of fits and how that gels really well. But towards your second question, is it important to humanize it? Extremely important. I would say at the end of the day, when you're starting your business and when you're growing your business, Eddie, you are reaching out to people. When you're problem solving, you're trying to solve a solution. And if you cannot storytell that, if you cannot connect that to other people, then it's like you chopping down a tree in the middle of a forest, and when it falls, no one's there to hear it, right? Your goal is to get everyone to hear about it.
Wow, I think that's amazing. And I always believe in a saying that if you are not talking about your business, why would someone else do that? So indeed, I love that part. And Lennise, before I go and reflect a little bit more and get more hacks for our audience, which they can actually go back, because I see you have always come forward. It's not that you shy away. You always come forward. You talk about Droppy. You talk about the vision of the company, of how you want to change the lives of the retailers in Malaysia and bring them to actually into a phase which is digitally transforming their life. I mean, I remember we talked about urban poverty. I would want you to take a minute and little bit highlight our audience about urban poverty, because I found it very fascinating and also something which was an eye-opener for me. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, so how urban poverty is linked back to what we do on a day-to-day basis at Droppy is that majority of the metropolitan cities in Malaysia, there's a huge urban population. In fact, due to COVID period, what we call the bottom 40 segment in Malaysia has now being expanded to the bottom 50. So that means close to half of Malaysians are going to be in the state of poverty. I apologize. Am I stuck here? My internet is just being very wonky today. But in summary, majority of these poverty or these communities, they are trying to figure out how to actually get out of it, not because they don't have the means to, or they're trying to figure out the better ways to actually get more sales, optimize your expenses. Most of them don't even have the luxury of being educated about it. And what we do here at Droppy is that we made it our pledge so that we're able to educate and provide the digital tools, the digital means for them to be able to connect and grow their business beyond their borders. So in hopes that we are able to actually help them climb out of that state.
So guys, if you are one of them, I want to give a shout out to Droppy. So please get in touch. I'm sure Lennise can lend a hand and can help you see the other side of the world, which probably you have yet to discover, I would say. But Lennise, with this, I'm going to come back to your story. I really want you to share, as a founder, we always have some moments in our life, which is the most memorable moment. Like, at that moment, you really felt like a butterfly in your stomach, and it's like, okay, yes, you did it, kind of moment. Do you mind us? Like, what's the first thing when I ask you this question? Which moment comes to your mind? And I would love you to share that with our audience.
Yeah, I think like, getting accepted to Y Combinator was a huge milestone for me. For those of you who are not familiar with what Y Combinator is actually one of the best, well, I personally think it's the best accelerator in the world. They have an amazing network of like mentors or founders, even access to tools and in a very cheap rate, right, to help you scale and grow your business even faster. The acceptance rate into Y Combinator, it's much harder than entering or applying for Harvard. So if you're thinking of like applying to Harvard and you think that it's hard, Y Combinator is harder. So the experience of that was truly fantastic and amazing. It wasn't it was through my second time that when I applied for it, that's where we've gotten in. We've gotten rejected during the first time. So
Ooh.
I like to urge to all of you, when you fail in actually achieving something, try again, especially if you want it badly enough. Keep doing it. Persistence is key. And yeah, like I said, keep your head low. Make sure that you are always producing value, and you take actions and just not say the things what you want to say.
Amazing, Lennise. I didn't know it. I'm sure our audience did not know it, that it was not the first time when you got into it. And being in Y Combinator, guys, I want to vouch for that. It is world's #1 accelerator program. It's literally super difficult to get into it. And Droppy is one of the Malaysian companies to be a part ever since. And it's amazing to see how you guys have grown. And I'm sure Y Combinator plays a very important role for the scalability happening so fast with Droppy altogether. Lennise, as we're almost reaching to the final segment out here, are you ready for the rapid fire? We're going to do a quick rapid fire.
Yeah, let's go for it. Definitely.
Okay, so let's hit the rapid fire right here, right now. We're going to play a head or a tail round, which means that I'm going to give you 2 words and you got to tell me which one actually relates with you the most.
Sure.
Okay, so let's do it, Lennise. And guys, let's play together. For everyone who has been on Linkedpreneur, they know the drill. For the new ones, please share this video. Make sure your friends and everybody gets to know about the amazing stories of 2 female founders, Lennise, and soon going to have one more and with a special guest. Also, we're going to play all together. So I'm going to share the 2 words and put it in the comment section, your word, which one you want to go with for Lennise. So you choose for her as she chooses for herself as well. So Lennise, let's get started. Isn't it fun?
Sure. It is.
Okay. Let's do it. Passion or purpose?
Purpose.
Food or travel?
Travel.
Malaysia or US?
Malaysia.
Okay. It's more on the team or investor?
Teams. 100%. 1,000%.
Okay. Sustainability or scalability?
Scalability.
Awesome. Burgers or nasi lemak?
Nasi lemak.
So everybody from North Malaysia, Singapore, guys, nasi lemak is the national dish of Malaysia. It's a rice plus sambal.
It's delicious.
Yeah. In short, it's delicious. And I can say that because I've had it and it's yummy. I love it. And also, last but not the least, it's going to be, if I have to ask a question, like 2 things, if you are given a choice to choose from, as soon as this pandemic is over, you will go for a family big reunion or for a solo travel?
Solo travel. FYI, guys, I have a huge family. I grew up with 5 siblings. So, yeah, nah, I'll pass.
Oh God, I know I put you in the catch-22 situation, but I love that you were super candid. We do want our breaks. We do want that mental retreat for ourselves, and I love it, guys. And as being a founder, it can be a space which can sometimes be a lonely space. And I feel that. Do you feel that, Lennise?
Yeah, definitely.
I too agree. I mean, there are some times when you have no one but yourself, and these little getaway can make complete sense. And for your amazing share of rapid fire, kudos to you, Lennise. You did it rapidly. But with this final and the big question of the day, if today all the audience is watching us right now, whether they're an entrepreneur or they're entrepreneurs, what are the tips that you would want to give to them so that they can take their brand, their voice to the world in a more comfortable and more conversion driven manner?
Yeah. I can give you 3 tips, especially like, you're trying to brand yourself better, right? 3 things that you just got to do. And it's very simple. 1, reflect. Take some time, think about who you are, why you're doing this, why you do what you do, and write them down. Journal them down. It's as easy as that. Second of all, storyboarding. So once you've gotten that reflection down, storyboard it. Now, it is extremely important to storyboard what you're trying to say, because you have to be able to convey your message out in a very simple and concise way. And last but not least, engage. Try to figure out to spread your message online, offline, as far as wide as you can, because at the end of the day, just like that tree that I told you about, if you're busy chopping that tree and it falls down and no one is around to hear about it, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Like, I love this analogy, Lennise. I love this analogy. And thank you for sharing all 3 of them. So guys, reflect, create your story, and engage with the people who believe in you for the starters. And this will be a whole new world for you to be able to create a voice for yourself. Thank you so much, Lennise. But I'm not going to leave you.
Thank you.
Because there are so many questions. There are so many questions. I don't know what to choose from. Okay, so I'm going to go with a question that is coming in from Mohammed Hazib Raza. So Mohammed Hazib Raza, thank you for your question. I indeed see there are 2 approaches that you have. So I'm going to take one of your questions here. He says, how will you manage if you have conflict between your passion and what's needed in the market? I think that's a beautiful question. Sometimes we have a vision, but the need, and how do you find that conflict match?
What I would do is that always go back to the users. Like, what are you trying to solve here? Your customers always have the answers and will tell you. Sure, I think it is important to have passion. However, you started building, especially when you're building a business and it's scaling, right? And somehow or rather, perhaps your passion has lost or died along the way. That's okay, but just make sure that, you find the purpose of your business. Why was it started? Why was it created? To solve what particular problem? Your passion, then you could reignite that by doing a side project, or perhaps once you've already exited your company or pass over this company to someone that could actually have scaled this even better, and then you can start something new. There's no right or wrong here. I think what you got to do is just ask yourself what's more important, just like what Kush did, right? Like asking me passion or purpose. For me, it's like purpose first. I'm at a stage in my life where it's purpose first. If you were to ask me 10 years ago, it was passion first, right? So no right or wrong. I think you just really got to ask yourself the hard questions, and all the best.
Absolutely. Hard question is the key, guys. And I actually loved it, Lennise, that we have phases in life. We don't usually stick forever with a single thing in our life. Sometimes we do, but I've seen we evolve as people, and we should be open to that. Just a quick ad, and I would love to hear it from you as well. Maybe you are not looking at the right market. Just have a check, man. possibility. Isn't
Yeah.
it, Lennise? Is that a possibility as well?
It is a possibility.
Awesome. So, Mohammed, I hope you got the answer. Everything, there's no right and wrong. And I'm sure you'll be able to find a place which is a perfect center ground where you are able to find an idea which works with the market after thorough study. Because as Lennise said, that's very important. You need to do your research. That is what problem are you solving, who you're solving for. So thank you so much, Lennise, for being with us
Thank
on
you.
Linkedpreneur Stories. I hope you had a great time.
Yeah, I had a fantastic time. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much, Lennise. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Lennise. Thank you so much again.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Lennise, as we are sharing a goodbye with you, a quick question. One piece of advice you want to give to all our audience?
Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Especially in a state of change.
I like that.
Awesome, guys. Learn,
Relearn.
unlearn, and relearn. Take it ahead, guys. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. Awesome, Lennise. Thank you so much for being with us on Linkedpreneur Stories Season 2, Episode 1.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
Love.